but I believe it is my opportunity now to talk to these wonderful people. Now, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, I can get you.
Yes, we can hear you.
So thank you very much. I'll not take much of your time, but I go straight to the topic that I was given. Once again, I appreciate for the opportunity. Now, we are talking about smart financial goals for smart living. And straight away, I hope you'll allow me to share the screen. I hope it acts. Right. Thank you. Can everyone see what I'm sharing? Kindly confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Today we'll be having a look at few things, but our main point of focus will be looking at the graph of life or money through the ages. And I believe each and every one of us who is in this meeting belongs somewhere in the graph that we'll be sharing. And maybe in the course of the presentation, in case someone may have a question, can just put it there in the chat. Then maybe you can address it later. Now, when you talk about smart financial goals for smart living, if we look at the graph that I've presented there, we belong somewhere, ranging from age 0 to infinity, depending with how long an individual wants to live. And I believe most of us here have goals, or we are foreseeing a future where we want to live and see the great grandchildren. There are those who don't want to get old. But all through this, we belong somewhere at the moment. And we'll be talking about maybe where we belong and where we want to go. How can we easily reach there through having smart goals? And smart, of course, we know it's a cliche: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals. So that's what we'll be looking at, and I believe we will be in a position to get something. Now, in the screen that is before us, we can see different people in different ages. Allow me to use male gender. You can see a baby. I don't know, you can see a toddler. You can see a pupil. You can see a student. You can see a young man fresh from school, maybe starting hustling. You can see a man who is established, looking at his body size, for example. You can see an old person, maybe who have just retired. You can also see a person whose age is advanced. I believe we are somewhere here. I'm told the group consists of individuals who are young people, young professionals, but we were once babies or children. We are somewhere, and one day we will be old if God will give us opportunity to live life in full. Now, As as we can see, 0 to 10 years, where we were someday, it's just foundational years. 10 to 20 is a decade of discovery. You can see 20 to 30 is young, free and single. I believe there are members in this meeting who belong to that age group. Then 30 to 40, that's an expansion phase. Probably an individual is married, they're getting children. Then it reaches an age where you have to consolidate. Of course, here we are talking about resources, because that is the age someone is just from expansion age and they are heading towards the retirement. Then there is the age when maybe if you had children are now in school or they are no longer with you. Then there is the age where you will have to be on a new road again, because if you are working, you are no longer maybe able to work because you've retired, either naturally or forcibly, because maybe what you are doing you are not able to do at this age. But now you will discover that in the course of our discussion, we'll be talking also about hobbies, because I believe it comes an age whereby if you have enough time, you have less energy, you have more resources. If you really planned well, you will have a good life. But if you reaches that moment where you have more time because you retired, you did not save enough, you can see that that moment can be so much of a miserable. Now, the three phases we can see here, 0 to 25. It's a depend. This is where most of us, we are living in Africa, and most people here, they are dependent. And by the fact that they are dependent, maybe we are depending on guardians, parents, or the society, and everything mostly is financed. Although there are special cases here of those people who start working early, and that's an advantage to them. Then it also comes a moment where a person has to become independent, whether you have a job or not. The society expects you to be independent. And it is in that moment that decisions have to be made, and most of the decisions have financial implications. And that one moves from 25 to 60. I know the retirement age in Kenya is 60. And we can see something and we can see where we belong. I believe most of us here majority belong between the ages of 25 and 60. And therefore, it is just important that we are here. We are meant to we have to make smart financial goals so that the last phase of life, these three phases, we are at the middle, most of us. The last phase of life, we will have something to depend upon. Na nasikia wengi sana wakisema uzee hula ujana. So this is where it really applies. I know we have parents or we have old people in the society. There are those who are independent and there are those who are dependent, but now that is based on the financial decisions that people make. There are 6 things that requires our attention as far as smart goals are concerned, and that as they are as highlighted here, but I know someone can add or subtract what applies to them in a way or another. And just allow me to use it the way it is here. These are some of the things that I wanted us to look at, although we do not have enough time to look at them one by one or all of them, but we can get something that will help us to have or have the urge to create a smart plan that will help us to have it easy as far as handling these, let me call them financial needs, are concerned. I hope we're still together. Maybe if I lost someone, you can just still let me know so that I go back and explain something. We are together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, look at children. We look at the children education plan. We look at family health. We look at family holiday. We look at home ownership. We look at retirement. We look at personal development. All these areas calls for our attention. More so if we belong to any of these, mostly this age of expansion or young, free, and single age, where I believe most of us belong, or those who are in consolidation phase. Now, let me talk something small on children education. Most of us who are working or who are still in school, a time will come for those who are maybe in school or those who are still maybe dependent on children, on their parents or the society. A time will come when we'll have to be independent. There are those who are at this stage of life. Here, if God allows and one goes into marriage, responsibilities come to set in. And it's usually, they normally say this is the age, this age is the age of what you call heavy lifting. Because if the society is depending on you, the family is depending on you, children set in, and I think, or I know, children here are where most of the cash or investment is supposed to be done. It is a heavy lifting because education is expensive. I think most of us will agree because we've been there, but also it depends on the quality of education. And that's why when you talk about children education, it is something that we need to consider, whether you have the children already or you're planning that one day you will have a family. It is just something that you need to plan for, whether they are there or not there, because it can be heavy. But the good news is that what you cannot afford to buy with money, you can buy with time. What you cannot afford to buy with money, you can buy with time. We all know the concept of compound interest, where money grows as each and every time passes, as each and every day comes in, money grows. And that's why we can achieve big goals cheaply if you have a smart goal. So one of these things where we need to be very smart as far as making those goals that will have an easy life is planning for the education of our children, because it's getting expensive each and every day. Now, it is also important that we look at what we call the home ownership. There are those who are lucky, maybe they inherited a home or a house, they are not paying rent. But those who are living, those who are tenants under someone, you will discover if at the end of the year you do the calculations to find out how much you've paid someone as rent, you may be shocked. You may be shocked because you'll discover that, let's say, since you are not supposed to pay for a house more than, let's say, 20% of your income, and at the end of the year you do the calculations to find out how much you've paid someone, and also try to think and see how much or what that can do, you may be shocked. So it's always just good to have a smart goal of that one day, if you are not in a home of your own, that you may own a home someday somewhere. And when I talk about smart goals, these goals should be very specific because you know why you want to own the home, what kind of home do you want to own, and of course, if you know which kind of home do you want to own, and then of course the you employ a specialist to do the analysis for you and know how much you need, or do just the scouting and you know how much you need, and when you need to do that, it can help in setting up a goal that may help you achieve that specific goal of home ownership. The earlier the better. I know there are options currently for rent to own. There are those who want to buy houses through mortgages. There are those who want to build houses or homes of to their own taste. So depending with whatever works for one and the cost implications included, that one can also help to determine how you really set up this goal for yourself. Now, there is something here that is very key that I want us maybe to consider before looking at the rest, and that is on retirement financial plan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where they say the rubber meets the road because most people, I think in Kenya, they say most people, the retirement age comes and finds people unawares because they did not have enough knowledge to have a
Nicholas, if you could just unmute. I think you're muted on your end.
Have I been muted for long?
Yeah, for about 5 to 10 minutes.
So I was talking alone.
Just
Sorry.
5 minutes. Not to exaggerate, 5 minutes. About 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Sorry for that. I'll go back. Where did I mute? What was I talking about? Kindly. Anyway, then
You were
let me just
talking
go
about
back.
retirement.
Oh, when I muted.
Yes.
It's all right. Thank you. Let me just go back a little bit. It's all right. Now, I was saying that all these things that we are talking about here, be it children education, family health, family holiday, or that I touch on them, home ownership, retirement, or personal development, all these things have financial implications. And the financial implications calls on our side to have a plan. We have had, and it is a cliche, that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that means that a person has to be very smart because the resources of the money we have from our employment is somehow limited. So you just have to be very smart so that you achieve these goals. And if you depend only on the income you have and you don't maybe save or invest in a place that is multiplying, then it means maybe achieving these goals may be just a dream. And a dream can either come true or it can also fail to come true. So I was saying, if you look at this journey of life, from the moment you get the job to the moment you retire or die, a lot of things have to happen along the way. When you start a job, maybe you may need to buy a TV, you may need to be in a good house, you may need to rent a good house, maybe move from a single room to a bed sitter to a one bedroom to bedroom. When the family comes in to bedroom, 3 bedroom, because responsibilities increase as a person moves through the journey of life. If the decisions made along this route up to this moment are not smart, then here a person will have to live a very miserable life. And you will discover something here that says that rich old people are more attractive than poor old people. It means if someone reaches the retirement age and they did not have a very good plan, they may retire with little or few coins that may not last them long. So you will discover misery sets in, and that one may make an individual not to live life in full, not to have a life that is quite attractive. So when you look at retirement planning, it is important to know how much your income you may need when you retire. And in life as we live, there is what we call the lifestyle. The lifestyle we acquire along the journey. But this one is dependent more so in income and the decisions that we make. So you cannot compare a person who, let's say, is a member of a golf club at the age of 35 or at the age of 40, because you cannot be a member of a golf club at this age and want that when you get old, you go back to draft. Because you are not able to afford the membership fee or subscriptions for the club, because when the income changes, of course, friends also changes along the way. So we do not have an option, but just to be smart in our decisions so that we improve on our lifestyle, retain the same even when we grow old, so that nobody may lack when they had plenty in their active working ages. Maybe time may not allow, but there are very many things that are involved maybe in retirement, because retirement is just one thing. But not everybody live to see the retirement age. There are those who life takes off before there because of issues here and there. And not everybody live to retire. And there are those who may, maybe after retirement, you retire at 60 and live up to 105. So there are 45 years that you need to live and survive on what you have invested or saved during your retirement planning. So I know I'll be going back and forth, but you'll forgive me for that. It is important as we work, each and every moment, we create time just to reflect on how our lives is, create time off, and that one calls for a holiday. Holiday can be simple or complicated, local or international. I know people have their desired or what we call their dream destinations. It is only possible if someone has a plan and just a good plan. Because you cannot just work. It is always also good to take your time and let the body relax, let the family members enjoy and relax. It can be at the beaches, it can be away from the country, it can be there are those who love to go to Cape Town, Dubai, Miami. All those things are possible, but with a plan. So the plan can be short term, medium term, as we see here. But depending with when that one is supposed to happen, because we are saying time is essence, time is of essence, it is necessary that all these things be written somewhere and we plan together, maybe as a family or as an individual, and be intentional in make sure that they come to pass. So there's the holiday to be planned in short term, there's the holiday to be planned in long term. There are those who want to own holiday homes. There are those who want just to travel the world. All those things call for a smart goal. Now, as we do that, there is this thing we call personal development. To
Nicholas, are you there? We can't hear you.
requires financial input. I was just confirming from Ceylon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know time is fast moving, and allow me to touch something on what we call family health. The younger you are, the lesser you are likely to get sick. And you know, since I work with insurance, we love young people because the risk is low. You may be having a very good medical cover, but you may not use it much unless you're doing the checkups and maybe just simple uh, medical needs like maybe maternity, uh, maybe the outpatients. But now, as an individual grows old, we discover maybe the body now starts asking for just like a car, when you have an older car, it requires frequent servicing. So when you grow old, it means that now health becomes key. But unfortunately, the insurance companies may not want to see you, or if it has to see you, you have to pay an arm and a leg for you to have some good medical care or medical cover. So it is important that it is possible to plan for family health or individual health even in old age. And the beauty is you don't have to take a medical cover now that will cover you when you are 70, but through the pools of accumulation that I'll touch on as I finish, you can help you have a resource that you can maybe tapping it to buy medical insurance as you get old. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the 6 things that I would like maybe I would have loved us that to consider when we talk about smart financial goals for smart living. And living is both now and the future. Young people will say you only live once and you live today, but we live every day, including tomorrow. And it is better if our tomorrow can be better than today. And for that to come to pass, it is just important that we have a smart goal on how we educate our children, on how we'll start and expand our business, let's say to create an extra income for ourselves or as our retirement strategy, because you also discover that you may not be able to save for retirement, that you save so that you use that money to sustain your retirement lifestyle. It's not possible, but it is possible to set up a fund that will help you create a resource that you will be getting income at your retirement or the sunset years. So the life maybe we live tomorrow will depend on the choices that we make today, because everyone has an opportunity. As long as God has given you health and a source of income, the decisions you make today are very, very key in making sure that we have a life that is admirable. We sustain our lifestyle and make it better each and every moment. I know maybe if time will have talked about estate planning, because nobody knows the day the maker may call them home, and so on and so forth. So maybe as I finish, there's the other question here. What does the future look like? Or how will you look like your future to look like? Quality education for your children and even for yourself. Quality marriage. Do you know they say, a happy marriage may not be possible if finances are issues. And when children's setting, that is our responsibility. Someone was asking another one who was saying that they have a lot of obligations, including paying school fees. Then he was told that paying school fees is not an achievement, but it is a responsibility. Because if you don't educate your child, whom do you expect to educate the child? And now the question is, are you ready to fund the kind of education that your child may want so that they are able to survive in the competitive world? It is possible if you plan. There is a retirement home here, and this one looks like the house for, we call him one of these richest men. Then there are those who may want to own a yacht or a beach, a whole beach, drive luxury cars. You may be having a good life now, but it's good to sustain that life. But it's possible to have a good life now and have a miserable life in future if the decisions you make do not support actually what we want our futures to be. Now, as I finish, remember I said I consult for I see a lion, and one of my passions is helping individuals and families plan their future. And planning the future includes taking into consideration the risks that surround us, because you can even create some wealth, but at the end of the day, you find out that what you created is swept away either through a medical bill or fire, if it's a home, or something. There are bad things do happen. And now it is important you have them, or you transfer the risks to all those who can, and that is why life insurance companies come. Now, as I finish, there are several financial solutions that exist, which we call the pools of accumulation, that will help you achieve your goals. And those ones maybe are the ones that we can have at a personal level, a discussion, so that we see, as we talk about child education plan, as we talk about retirement plan, as we talk about home ownership, as we talk about holiday, as we talk about future family health. How do I go about it so that my goals come to pass? And that is where now the financial solution, what we call the pools of accumulations, comes in to help us achieve our goals. And most of these things, the needs and goals are normally personal. And that's why we talk about going and looking for a very tailor-made plan that will help you achieve your goals. Person's A's goal may not be the same as person's B's goal. And that's why it's important to have to have someone who will point out to you a very personalized plan that will help you achieve those goals, so that it is tailor-made to fit your need. And that's why there exists very many pools of accumulation, starting insurance, banks, circles, and very many financial institutions that exist, special funds that will help one achieve these goals. So it is important that I also market myself. It is important you find yourself a properly qualified or licensed financial advisor, and that will help you start investing.
Nicholas, we've lost you again.
Can only be met or met if we have a personalized goal. So you can reach out to your financial advisor. I know there are those who have, but if you wish also maybe to get my services, I'm readily available to serve you at any given time, so that we are able to have a journey that we can all enjoy together. Sorry, I have done an express talk. I am not allowed maybe questions, but I take this opportunity to thank you all and maybe provide a chance for one or two questions. But I don't know how you normally do it, but I stand guided. Thank you very much for giving me a listen. And maybe where I was not audible enough, or I didn't meet the expectations, there is always the next time. And I'll be glad once again to maybe have an opportunity to talk to us on now the specifics of something else. Thank you very much. Over to you, the admin.
Thank you, Nicholas, for that wonderful message. Does anyone have a question for Nicholas? Anyone can just raise your hand. Peter is asking what is the difference between investing and saving?
Now, Peter, thank you for that question. Saving, there are several savings, just putting aside some, let's say, money or cash, but you don't pay attention on how the money is behaving, whether it is growing, it is stagnating, or it is losing value through inflation. But we talk about, you can even save under the mattress, you can save in a bank, you can save in a chama, but you don't pay much attention to what is happening to your money. But when you talk about investing, this is whereby you make a deliberate decision to put your money in a value-adding portfolio so that the money grows and the growth supersedes the inflation that exists. I think that's how I can answer it. So there are not like there are people, let me say for our Muslim brothers, they don't pay too much attention on the issue of interest or bonuses. And there are those, so them they vote for, let's say, saving portfolios. But if you are keen enough to see your money grow, that's now you choose an investment vehicle. And there exists. All those options exist, both in all the financial institutions. So that's how maybe I can answer that. Unless maybe they need there's something they want me to add.
Peter, I hope that's answered to your satisfaction. Also, before I forget, Nicholas, you can just tell the people how they can contact you for financial consultation?
Sorry. Thank you once again. Sorry. This is my contact. Straight to it. Now, you can find me through the phone number 0714 sorry, 0714 230. Naona hapa nimesahau tu 0714 230 690. 0714 230 690, or drop an email through the provided email there, nicholas.nangaba@life.iclion.com, and I'll be glad to serve you. So the phone number is 0714 230 690. I'll be glad to be of help or to serve. Whether you want any plan, be it a unit trust, a money market fund, special fund, endowment policies, education policies, retirement plans, and other portfolios that suits your need, I'd be willing to offer. 0714 230 690. I'm also dropping it in the comment section so that those who are unable to get it, they can get it there. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mr. Nicholas, I think we have 2 questions in the chat. Maybe will you mind answering, and maybe I can ask mine. I was requesting if you could tell us more about special funds and also stock markets.
Now, I may not be a very good expert in stock markets, but now about the special funds, there exists very many. I don't know if the person wants to know what they are or those that exist in the market.
which process should I follow to know which one is the best platform to, or other organization to invest with? And
That's why
yeah. Mhm.
as I type my number there, I know there exist several in the market. I know that we have heard about the Mansa X from SIB. ICA, we also have the fixed income funds. We also have the multi-strategy bond funds, and several. They exist a lot in the market. About stocks, of course, we can maybe they be very well assisted in the what do you call it, the NSC, but to have a very good exploration on the same, it is just important if maybe we can have a personal talk so that I'm able to point to where we can get the plan that suits us, or if I'm able to provide, I do the same. So I think that will be the best thing to do. But currently the market is full. It's full of service providers, and it's very competitive, which is good for the consumer.
Mercy, is that okay?
Yes, that's okay with me. Thank you, Nicholas.
Okay.
Now, someone is asking here, the person who uses saving to buy a car, is that part of the achievement? Because a car can be an asset or a liability depending with how you're using it. Maybe there are those people whose hustles requires them to move from here to there. I think it can be an asset or a liability depending with if you are able to maintain the car without much hassle so that it does not take you in debt, or you can be using the car as another source of income. It depends on how you put it, but it's an achievement anyway. Because by the fact that you're able to buy a car, it means you had the ability, if it was a loan, to pay, or you had the savings. But it is important not to buy. I would not advise someone to buy a car or asset from their own savings, but putting somewhere that they can be able to leverage on debt using other people's money to do their projects as they retain their principal amount. Thank you very much.
Jane is
How do you
asking.
invest in personal and professional development? This year about unaweza jiongeza masomo, unaweza nunua vitabu, but it is important to read. You may not be able to afford.
We've lost you again, Nicholas. We can't hear you. Nicholas, are you still in the chat? Hello, Nicholas. We cannot hear you.
Thank you. Sorry, I've been off, but over to you, the admin.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas, for that. Does anyone have another question for Nicholas? You can just give me a thumbs up if he answered your question to your satisfaction, and if you are okay.
Nicholas, I've asked a question on the chat box.
Now, okay, which one? Sorry. How do you invest personal? Like, your name, please.
Ungayo?
Which was the question?
This one that I've asked, like how can you invest in a how
Hello.
can
Didn't
you be
catch
able to?
that.
Yes, I'm investing in my person. Pardon?
Am I the only one who's not getting you clearly?
I'm asking,
Yeah.
like how can I ensure that me as Jane I'm able to be in a position that I'm investing in my personal and professional development? How can I go about it?
Okay, that's why I said you can, personal development is all about adding value to yourself. Let's say maybe in which field are you, for example?
Mm-hmm.
You can go for the professional courses. You can do a master's if you have a degree. You can do a degree if you have a diploma. You can do a postgraduate diploma. You can do a PhD. You can do professional courses here and there. There are very many to ensure that you are up to what do you call it? Up at par with the market. You can do personal branding, a lot of things. So I believe I don't know if I've answered your question, but it starts by you being hungry for knowledge, reading books, listening to mentors. Currently, the information is very, very much available. You can pay for a course. There are those that are offered free, but it also requires planning. You can just say, I want to save or to invest this so that by the time I'm 45, I go to do law. I've been a HR, let me now go be a lawyer. But it's just all about value addition. Anything that will add value to your life. But for more discussion, we can just reach out. I'll be glad to have that discussion. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Is there any other question?
Right. Thank you so much.
Are we good? I hope everyone is good. And if you have any question, you can just raise it or reach Nicholas directly to his contact.